Yo, 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 we're back with another DADCAW. It is, of course, Monday, April 12th, 2021. It is the afternoon, evening area, at least where I am. And today, I want to talk to you a little bit about perfectionism, and specifically what might be an antidote, a kryptonite, a panacea to all of your perfectionism and all of the problems that essentially begets. Of course, those who have followed the channel, those who have maybe consumed my content for a number of years will perhaps know that I used to struggle very heavily with perfectionism. And I wasn't really thinking about perfectionism recently when I came to a realization that I think will massively help people who still suffer from this stuff. I realized that, well, there is a method of changing your perception and reconsidering what is actually motivating or demotivating about a situation that I think can be massively helpful. It's a mindset change, but it's one that can manifest in real change immediately, something that you can consciously experience and then put into practice very quickly thereafter. So follow me through this journey. We'll see where you come out from on the other side. I was thinking about Project Hydra. This is another thing that most people following this channel know about. It is my total conversion, my magnum opus as far as I have come so far, and it is indeed a very large and ambitious project within StarCraft Brood War. It is the biggest mod in terms of its ambitions and what it's already accomplished, and it is something that currently has some stability issues and some glaring limitations that it runs up against inside the engine of StarCraft. Chief among them being the unit limit, the bullet limit, and similar such things, as well as a limitation on how many data entries you can have in any given struct. So based on those things, you would think, well, as ambitious as it is, it might not be all that impressive to behold, and maybe it's even hell on earth to actually develop content within, given that you do have stability issues and you do have these things that are constraining your ability to produce content for this mod. And that was more or less a very pessimistic version of what I already felt like. If you took my negative sort of claims or thoughts about working on content within Hydra and you sort of exaggerated them, maybe that's some sort of bears some sort of resemblance to what I had just said. And I think based on that, it's no wonder that I was musing on motivation and why maybe I was finding it difficult to be motivated, in fact, going into some of the development of a lot of these projects that I've been going on and working on for a while, and why maybe so many different things were announced and then canned and then moved around and then downscaled, and then maybe you just find something else that is more exciting and enticing. Part of that is just the natural journey that you go on in terms of a creative. You bounce from project to project until something really sticks with you. And then it doesn't really matter about discipline in that scenario because you're being disciplined by working in the first place. And if there's a project that you want to explore and then you find out it's not for you, then it's actually kind of foolish to stick with it. Discipline be damned almost in that kind of scenario. It's actually better that you go find something that you are actually passionate about. So based on all of this preamble, I'm going to talk to you about a realization that came above me and washed over my brain earlier today. So I was thinking about motivation and my lack thereof for some larger scale projects within Project Hydra. And I was thinking about how, for example, I had this idea that if I bother making anything large scale, it's almost kind of a waste because it's just going to crash, or it's just going to have these really critical AI issues, or it's just going to have these CCMU limitations. And then I realized that you can actually invert that. You can take, why make a campaign when it's just going to crash? And you can turn that sentiment into, well, I have a campaign. I am much more motivated now that I have a campaign to actually fix the crashes so I can play my campaign. And again, it's almost absurd to put it that way because you are talking about literal crashes. It's almost Stockholm Syndrome-esque in a way. It sounds very crazy to say. Another more reasonable example, perhaps, would be, why work on this artificial intelligence script? Or why work on this level if I'm just going to run into some issues with the AI performance? And that easily turns into, I've got my level, I've got a draft of my level, time to update the AI so that it competes better. And it actually is better. And maybe here's another example for 3, because 3, I have this large scale map. Why work on it at all if I've got the cannot create more units issues, if I've got the in-game unit limit issue, if I've got the in-game bullet limit issue, if I can't even actually experience the project as it was meant to be experienced, turn that into, I've got my large scale map. I know that it works for the most part. I need to do some testing. Maybe I can't because it crashes, or maybe I can't really fully experience the whole project. because of XYZ reason. So let's do ABC thing to fix that. And I'm so much more motivated now because I've actually got a map waiting to be done, waiting to be played, waiting to be released and experienced. And that in and of itself can be massively motivational compared to what you normally think of when you imagine yourself in that scenario. The real key here, I think, is that it's all well and good that I've made this personal move and mental jump, and I've now made this connection, and now I can sort of think differently about how I'm actually interfacing with my projects and how I'm getting motivation from them. And I can think differently about maybe I just set aside any misgivings or trust in the process of resolving any issues as they come up and continuing to resolve the issues that have already come up. And I just say, fuck it, man, I'm going to work on this project. Maybe that's what I can do. But how can you use this information, right? So let's use some less Hydra-specific, more general purpose examples of this exact mentality as it applies to, again, perfectionism, or as I like to sometimes call it, perfectionism. And you can react all the different kinds of views to this video that you like. You can also react thumbs up, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. So thumb me dad in the video below as I'm going to lay it on for you. Perfectionism. How can it be defeated using this methodology? What is the kryptonite exactly, Pronogo? Well, I can't use this draft of my script or my audio or my graphics. It's not even good quality. It's not going to show me anything that I need to know. It's not even going to get me immersed in what the final project is going to be about. So why even bother making a rough draft? Why even bother using a placeholder asset? Why even bother trying to write something or record something or edit something or put something in there? You turn that into, hey, I have the first draft. It's hooked up. It's got some real obvious problems, but now I know what can be fixed. Now I can see how it can be improved and brought up to snuff on the second draft. And a more broad scale, large scale project, or large scale example rather, I don't want to work on this project, this campaign, or this game, or this engine, or whatever. It won't even be half as good as what I actually want it to be. That kind of sentiment can be inverted and turned into this. Here's my completed project. Here's In Consummate 2017. Some people might know me from that. So here's In Consummate 2017. Here's Hydra 2019 or 2018 or whatever the original version was. Here's all these, projects with obviously massive flaws. Here's what I learned, and here's what needs to be better. Here's how I can improve when I go into my next project. Here's how I can improve if I decide to buckle down and update this project. No matter how you slice it, this kind of inverting the demotivating factor and mirroring it into an actual motivational factor can be massively helpful because it gives you something to do, and most importantly, some skin in the game that ensures that most likely you do it. Because if, for example, in the Hydra case, your map doesn't work unless you fix CCMU or fix a crash or fix whatever issue you're running into, well, hey, guess what? I can take that and I can say, well, let's just fix that because now I've got a map. I've actually done a map. It's not that I've allowed this to hold me back from making a map. I've made the map. Okay, now we have to actually fix this engine level issue or whatever because that's the only way I'm going to be able to experience my map. And hopefully I can convince everybody else who's helping me out here to say, oh, I want to play Pronogo's map, dude. It looks pretty sick. Well, I can't do that unless I help CCMU. All right, here we go. CCMU, we're coming in, man. Let's get them. Hopefully that's how it actually ends up. Now, for the other side of the coin, for the perfectionism project or whatever, if it goes from, I don't want to work on this project because it's not going to be all that great, it can you turn that into, I'm going to work on this project. We'll see how great it is. And if it's not great at the end of the day, then at least I know what to do. You have something to do. You have something to go on to next. And especially with a finished product, you actually have something to fall back on and say, this is what's at stake. I can't make anything better than this. If I don't make anything else, if I don't improve myself, or I don't fix some problem, or I don't do X, Y, or Z thing as a creator, as a intellectual, as whatever you're actually working on, then my legacy will actually just be In Consummate 2017. Well, I don't want that, so I'm obviously not going to stop here. I'm going to make some more stuff. It's almost like additional motivation because you get that momentum going, and you get the momentum of all your past projects and all of the projects that you're currently working on that are essentially living and dying conceptually or technically based on the limitations and the issues that you've encountered so far, and they must be fixed so that you can experience your content. Man, there's so many different ways that this can go, but they all go better than doing nothing, than just allowing yourself to say, I'll have to work on some compromised shit because this certainly isn't going to work. So there you go. That's my antidote to perfectionism. That was my 10-minute long rant at your face, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, you can tell me all about how you plan to put this knowledge to good use in the comments below. And I will see you on the next DADCAW or next video or whatever. I'll see you soon. Bye.